The Toronto Raptors could very quietly be building something special. I know they caught a lot of heat for the Colin Murray-Boles pick, and while maybe it wasn't the best pick in the world, he's still a guy that can contribute as a versatile defender and as a guy that if his three-point shot develops, he could be very good. We'll do a deep breakdown of his game here shortly, but it's very underrated the fact that they brought in Brandon Ingram for essentially nothing. They still have Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, a really good supporting cast, a couple of really good 3-and-D wings, and we haven't even talked about Emanuel Quickley yet. Now, as I said, we would break down Colin Murray-Boles' film. He's going to be 20 years old next year, and he boasts a 6'8" frame with a 7'1" wingspan, with a lot of positionless, I should say, versatility, especially on the defensive side of the ball, where he can guard pretty much 2 through 5, sometimes the guard, depending on it. He averaged 16.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.5 blocks, and 1.3 steals last year, while shooting 59% from the field and 27% from 3, which is decent. I mean, the 3-point percentage is obviously not good, but defensively, that's where he was fantastic, coming over from help side to make this play right here. And that's what Masai Ujiri loved so much about him: positionless wings that can defend a multitude of positions. He also got fired for making this pick, which is kind of crazy, but he's also 240 pounds, so he can go down low and hold his own, or he can operate on the perimeter. And operating on the perimeter is what he loves to do on the offensive side of things. Although he will go down low, I just don't think this is going to work at the next level for a 6'7", 6'8" guy to have a low post game. It's kind of unheard of in the modern NBA. He's got to turn into more of a Julius Randle type of guy. Now, he is very good off the roll, off the pick and roll, where he is the roll guy, like right here, where he just gets to the open spot, keeps Emanuel on his back, and then gets right downhill for the big time jam. Then right here, once again, just gets to the open spot, nice little shot fake, and dunks it home with the left hand. As you can see right here, they both go to the ball handler. The help side is a little bit late. An up fake gets him out of the way. Nice footwork, and he gets the dunk to go with ease. And then right here, a little hop step, getting right to the rim, using the big body. He does have a big frame, and he uses it to his advantage, being able to carve out space around the rim. The jump shot doesn't look terrible. All lefty jumpers usually look good, but there is work to be done. Here he is once again in the Summer League, where he dropped 20 on the Warriors, working out of that short roll again. This time, though, a little pick and pop action, which is something new. Notice how on an NBA court, he doesn't look quite as big as he did in college, just because everybody here is 6'8", 6'7", but working out of the pick and roll there into the pick and pop, getting downhill, nice little up and over. But I mean, it's still, I don't think this is really going to translate. He's going to have to develop an in-between game where he can work in the mid-post with his back to the basket, or face up. Face up more particular, because that's what everybody's doing these days. He does have some good athleticism for a guy that's 240 pounds, so we can use that to his advantage, and he has nice post presence where he can seal guys off. Although I still don't think he starts this year. I think that is going to be left to these guys, and he can come off the bench. It is a good starting lineup, though, and then they bring all these guys off the bench. They don't really have a backup point guard, at least not in their top 10 of players, or a backup 5. We'll see what they do there. Now, Jamal Shead, I understand, was very good last year for them, so maybe he's the backup point guard, but I do like all the wings that they have on this roster. And then, of course, Brandon Ingram. I think it really flew under the radar that they were able to get him for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, the Pacers' first-round pick next year, and then a second. This is a guy that was an all-star. He averaged 22, 5.5, and 5 last year on 47-37 shooting splits on 6.5 attempts from beyond the arc. That's ridiculous numbers. We're talking about a guy that just came in and signed a 3-year, $120 million contract and is now the second highest paid player on this team, and they got him for a bag of chips, because realistically, Bruce Brown or Kelly Olynyk, neither one of those guys was going to be on the team this year, and now they're gone, and it's going to be Brandon Ingram and company. He's 6'8" with a 7'3" wingspan. He can shoot over pretty much anybody. This is ridiculous stuff right here, absorbing the contact from Josh Hart and still getting it to go. The craziest part to me is that he is 28 years old, so he is still just entering the prime of his career, if he's even entered it yet, and he is a fantastic scorer. Obviously was getting comparisons to KD coming out of college. Now, that's not the ideal 3-man on the wing. However, when you add shooting around them and defense around them, maybe it can work. Now they're, a guard or two away. They have their center of the future. We'll see what they can do. Maybe we see some more Scottie Barnes at point guard when Emanuel Quickley goes out. That could be something the Raptors decide to do, but Scottie has a lot more development left. He's still 24, so he's still very young, but he averaged 19.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.4 steals, and a block last year. 45% shooting from the field, 27% from three. That's got to go way up. That 3-point percentage was not it. But if he gets into his bag, doing stuff like this, coming off of a pick and roll, getting into a half spin fadeaway, like Scotty Barnes could be a top 10 player in the league if he gets a jump shot because of his unique intangibles. Here he is operating out of the pick and roll, snaking the pick and roll, and then getting Miles Turner out of the way, getting right to the rim for the layup. He's 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan, and I think the next step for him is obviously the 3-point shooting. Whereas, 27% is not going to cut it in the modern NBA, but I would like to see what the Raptors are able to do with Scotty next year. And honestly, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the entire squad because there's a lack of point guard depth on this team. You could see guys like RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes getting minutes at the one alongside of Emanuel Quickley. And speaking of RJ, he'll be 25 next year. Still not yet in his prime, but about to hit that point. He averaged 21.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists per game last year. 47% shooting from the field, 35% from three. So your big three in Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes all averaged over 5 assists per game last year. He's a really good pick and roll scorer and passer, as you can see right here, getting down into the lane and using his big frame to be able to fend defenders off, using his shoulders, arms, stuff like that. But really, the 3-point shooting is what is holding this Raptors team back. And if Scotty Barnes can improve and then we can get like 38% out of RJ Barrett, that would be fantastic for the Raptors, and that would greatly increase their odds of winning next season. As for Emanuel Quickley, he needs to get healthy. He's on a big-time contract, obviously. He's only 6'2" with a 6'8" wingspan. Now, the +6 wingspan does make him play a little bit bigger defensively, but they also have Jamal Shead, 2 undersized point guards out there. So it's going to be interesting, like I said, to see what they do at the guard spot. Quickley averaged 17 points a game, 6 assists, 3.5 rebounds in 28 minutes on 42% shooting from the field, 38% from three on about 7 attempts. That's good and all until you look at his contract. And then, yeah, he's got to play a little bit better next year if he wants to earn that money. Otherwise, it's looking like one of the not so good contracts in the league. They have Grady Dick, and yes, if you look at the box score, his efficiency was down this year, but his numbers were up, and that's because he had a much increased shot diet, whereas, he was going off the dribble a lot more. Tougher shots, more defensive assignments in year 2. So I think next year we can see another leap for Grady Dick like we did from his rookie to sophomore campaigns. Ochai Agbaji shot 50% from the field and 40% from three on top of being an above average defender out there. Love to see that out of him, knocking down the corner 3 ball over and over. And, Ochai, I was really high on him coming out of Kansas. So seeing him being able to contribute to a team is going to be really nice, and obviously that's one of the more important positions is the 3-and-D wing. Jamison Battle could also be getting a lot of minutes next year for the Raptors if they decide to hang on to him because of that ability to be a 3-and-D wing. So with Battle and Agbaji, you got 2 right there that are fantastic, and then Jacoby Walter. A lot of people don't talk about him, but I think he's one of the most underrated players from last year's class. He'll be just 21 years old, averaged 8.6 points, 3 boards, 1.6 assists in just 21 minutes a game, and wasn't shooting half bad for a rookie guard. There have been rookie guards that turned out really good that shot way worse than that from the field or from 3 in their rookie seasons. So Jacoby Walter's a guy to keep an eye on this year, in my opinion, for Toronto. Of course, they got Jakob Poeltl, who they just re-signed to a 4-year extension in free agency this summer, locking him up for the foreseeable future. And yeah, when you look at this roster, it doesn't look fantastic. There's no stars, but they do have good depth. They got a lot of guys that can score the ball. So that's why I think if Colin Murray-Boles can turn out decent, this Raptors team is not looking half bad at all. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.